Hi guys, today I'm going to start a game to try and see what happens if Manchester United had bought Ivan Perisic last summer. In order to do that, I'm going to use Football Manager 2018 and I'm going to set up a new game with the top 5 European leagues. So this would be England, France, Germany, Italy and Spain. And then I'm going to continue by adjusting the transfers a little bit. Um, so let's see. So here we are now. I'm going to change the football team that owns Ivan Perisic. So let me find Manchester United in here. There they are. And now the fee that I'm going to use is 50 million euro, which comes about 44,400,000 pounds. This was the fee that was used most by the media. So we'll go with that. There it is. Now Ivan Perisic is part of Man United. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fast forward to December when I'm going to set the new transfer of Virgil Van Dijk to Liverpool. And then we'll go straight ahead to the end of the season. Now I have fast forward to the 1st of January 2018 and I'm going to set up the transfer of Virgil van Dijk to Liverpool. What I have seen in terms of transfer fee is 75 million pounds. So we'll use that. Okay. There it is. Virgil van Dijk is now a player of Liverpool, and I am going to fast forward until the end of this season. So we'll be back in a few seconds. Before I fast forward to the end of the season, I just want to have a quick view of how things are going now that we are almost midway. So 1st of January, as you can see right now, the leaders in the Premier League are Manchester United, and they're leading comfortably with 5 points against the next in line Arsenal. Manchester City are actually having a nightmare season, 10 points adrift of the first. And let's see what's happening here. What has happened with their schedule? So if we go to the very beginning, they got off to a bright start. 5 wins in 5 friendlies, then 4 wins on a trot in the Premier League, a draw home at West Brom. What happened here? Nothing interesting, so a surprise maybe. Then a home loss to Newcastle. Now that's very odd. We can see in the Champions League they're doing quite well. They have beaten Red Bull Salzburg. Then, a defeat, home defeat to Spartak Moscow. Another defeat away to Spartak Moscow. And 2 defeats on a row to Swansea and Chelsea away in the Premier League. So indeed a very bad period here. What was that? That was the end of November, was a very tough period for Man City. Then they got off to a brighter patch in the beginning of December, and they ended the month terribly with 2 losses and 2 draws. So they lost in the League Cup quarterfinal to Chelsea. They made a draw at home with United, lost at Anfield to Liverpool, and then drew with Burnley. Let's just see if everything is as it were before. So the manager is now Cheeky. Okay, so head coach Pep Guardiola, that's all right. Okay, so it appears that City have a problem with their form, but it's not something obvious to us. Looking at their tactics, they're playing similarly to what usually the computer is setting up when Pep Guardiola is managing a team in the game. So nothing to Nothing to give us any indication of what is causing this terrible start of the season. Going back to the table though, just to have a look if we have any other surprises. Liverpool are doing quite badly. They're in 9th position and they are actually 8 points adrift from the places giving access to the Champions League. At the bottom, we see Southampton performing terribly, Brighton and Stoke. So a lot of surprises, especially comparing to reality around the end of December 2017. Let's see now at the very top, Manchester United, what is happening here and who is performing well. Let's go to the players, senior squad, and let's see our new signing, Ivan Perisic. How is he performing? He's already assigned as part of the regular starting 11 as a left winger. Let's check his stats. He has quite good parameters, but let's see here. So he has played in 18 games in the Premier League, scoring 5 goals, 2 assists, one Player of the Match award with an average of 7.17, which is quite lovely, I think. We see that he has one sub appearance in the Cups and 5 appearances total in the Champions League with a total average rating of 7.16, which is quite nice, to be honest, for a newcomer in a tough league as the Premier League. But Perisic is a traveled footballer, so I actually didn't have any concerns about that. Let's just see how are they doing in terms of their matches and their results. So they had a brilliant preseason period. They recorded 6 wins, but they unfortunately lost to Real Madrid for the European Super Cup. Then off to a very bright start in the league. So 4, 5, 6, 7 league wins in a row until they lost away to Arsenal at the Emirates. So this was a combo breaker of a kind. So that was supposed to be their, so what was it? Eighth league win in a row. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be, but they bounced back, winning against Liverpool the very next round. And then they had another win against Burnley, then another win against Southampton, 2 draws and a loss in a row. So this was their worst form so far. Huddersfield away, West Brom at home, and a loss to Newcastle at home. Newcastle also beat Manchester City, if you remember from the previous screen that we saw. So Newcastle are a nice surprise this year. And then we see they end the year quite averagely. So the draw we saw with Manchester City, then another 2 draws with Leicester and Swansea, home and away respectively. The next game they are going to play is against Chelsea. Actually, this is today, but we're not going to see that. We're going to fast forward until the end of the season. So Manchester United are doing very well indeed. Let's see the table, and then I'm going to switch to the next league. We see also, so Arsenal is doing quite well compared to reality. Chelsea is in third, as in reality. Tottenham is doing better than they are. Also, we see Liverpool is performing very bad. Newcastle, as we already mentioned, they're performing way above the expectations. Watford and West Ham as well. West Ham especially, considering that Bilic got fired and then we got David Moyes replacing him. Actually, David Moyes is already here when we started the game. So we see a West Ham that is being guided by David Moyes to the 6th place. Not really challenging the 5th, but then a very tight battle with Watford and Newcastle, who is going to be on that prestigious 6th place above Liverpool with a point above. Let's also have a quick look at the key stats and the player performance. So let's go to player overview and see what's happening there. Okay, so top goal scorer Sergio Aguero with 15 goals in 20 games. Lukaku in 21 games only managed to score 12. Then we have Lacazette with 9, Giroud, Dini, Salah and Vardy and Hazard all with 8 goals, trying to get their way up the table. Best at hitting the target is actually Callum Wilson with 63%. So this is a surprise to me at least, but he has quite a few apps, so only 11 games. Kevin De Bruyne, on the other hand, in 15 games managed to hit the target on 61% of his shots. Let's see in the assist section, we have Kevin De Bruyne leading with 10, Juan Mata 9, Gylfi Sigurdsson with 8, also the same number as N'Golo Kante from Chelsea, Hazard with 7, Aaron Moy with 7, Dele Alli and Mkhitaryan with 6 each on joint 7th place. Most key passes, Kevin De Bruyne, not a real big surprise here. He is one of the most creative players in the game. 25 key passes, 3 more than the next Gylfi Sigurdsson. And then we have 4 players with 20 each. John Joe Shelby from Newcastle, so this is probably the creative engine of the team's very bright performance. Davi Proper from Brighton, also 20 key passes, but Brighton are struggling, as you saw there in the relegation section. And Henrik Mkhitaryan with 20 passes for Manchester United, combined with the fine form of Juan Mata. This is probably one of the main reasons why United are doing so well and are leading the table. Most dribbles per match, let's see. Hazard, no surprises here. Hazard is a very good dribbler, as you know. Let's see what are his dribbling stats. So he has 20 on dribbling, not a big surprise then. Christian Atsu from Newcastle causing havoc at the opposition defense, 3.92 dribbles per game. This is a very good number for Christian Atsu. Aguero and Sane from Manchester City, so they have a lot of dribblers. And we see also Sadio Mane, unexpected name here, Marko Arnautovic. So Not really any surprises. I would say Ronnie Lopez and Christian Atsu are the two surprises for me. Ronnie Lopez, I am not even familiar with that name at all. Most distance per 90 minutes, so this is showing you the hard-working players. N'Golo Kante, he is known for that, so no real big surprise. Jordan Henderson as well, he's quite famous with running around with some say not a lot of effort and not a lot of results, but anyway, Renato Sanchez from Swansea, so he's performing quite nice, I think. So let's see, average 696, so not too nice, but at least better than reality, where he's so far at least a flop. Pablo Zabaleta, he's defining age and covering a lot of ground. Victor Wanyama, Ander Herrera, Joe Allen, and Yohan Cabaye. Not a big surprise in the list there. Most tackles per match, again leading N'Golo Kante from Chelsea, Wanyama, Company, Koscielny, etc. We see a lot of defenders in this. As expected, most key tackles, we have Ryan Shawcross and Per Mertesacker are leading with 22 each, so they are the biggest tacklers in the game for this half a season. And let's see most shutouts, Petr Cech from Arsenal, so they have quite a mean defense it seems. He's led by Ederson and David De Gea from Manchester City and United with 8 each. All right. The next thing we're going to look at is going to be the Spanish Primera División. We're not going to spend too much time on the other leagues as the main focus is on the effect of the signing of Ivan Perisic to Manchester United, but just to have a quick look at the mid-season in the other four top European leagues, we see that in Spain Barcelona is leading by 4 points to the next one, Atletico Madrid, who, to be honest, have a game in hand, so their lead could be just a point potentially. Then we have Sevilla and Real Madrid. Real Madrid have 2 games in hand, so if they win them both, they would be with 39, taking them 4 points adrift of Barcelona. At the bottom, we see Alaves, Levante, and Leganes. I don't see any major surprises here, to be honest. I see that, okay, Valencia are struggling in 8th place, but other than that, no real big surprises. In the goal scorers section, we see that Simone Zaza from Valencia has scored the same number of goals as Luis Suarez in Barcelona, 12 each, followed closely by Cristiano Ronaldo with 11 for Real Madrid. In terms of average rating, we see that Miguel Angel Moya from Atletico Madrid, this is their goalkeeper, has the highest average rating. This means that they're probably having a very poorly performing defense, but on the other hand, let's see in the shutouts. No, he's not actually having a lot of shutouts, but Jan Oblak, his colleague in Atletico, has 6, so they are probably doing okay. In terms of yellow cards, Diego Godin from Atletico has the most, 8. So they're really having a bit of a disciplinary problem. Let's have a look at the Italian Serie A, and we can also have a look at what Inter are doing after they lost Ivan Perisic to Manchester United. In our theoretical scenario here, we see that Juventus is leading the table with 45 points, 1 more than Napoli and 5 than the third place Milan. Roma, and then Inter 4th and 5th respectively. At the bottom of the table, Verona, Cagliari, and Crotone are in the relegation zone, so they have a bit of a battle at their hand to survive. In the goals section, Higuain is leading with 17 goals. Belotti is in second place with 14, with Icardi in third with 13. Nani in Lazio is performing phenomenally, 8.2. So this is a very nice average rating from Nani. He's probably quite creative. Let's have a quick look. Oh, to be honest, no, only 2 goals, 1 player of the match though. So he's probably causing havoc without the end result. And let's see how are Inter doing without Ivan Perisic. So if we go to the tactics screen, we can see that at the left they have employed Eder and Dalbert in the fullback and winger positions. Let's see how is Eder doing. He had played 18 games as a starter, so he is the direct replacement of Ivan Perisic, and he has 2 goals only against his name, no assists, no player of the match award, and average rating below 7. So Eder is not really taking the opportunity, and Inter might be looking at transfers for the January window to strengthen their team if they really want to challenge that league, because at the moment they are outside of the Champions League places, and I expect them to actually switch to the next gear in the remainder of 2018 season. In Germany, we see that Bayern are leading with 41 points, but actually Dortmund are giving them a run for their money. They're on equal points, and Bayern is leading only because they have a better goal difference. Red Bull is third, but they're far off the title battle. In the bottom, we see Augsburg, Freiburg, and Mainz in the relegation zone, but Wolfsburg, Stuttgart, Hamburg, and Frankfurt are dangerously close. Aubameyang is leading the goals table with 13 goals. Boateng is the best player in the league with 7.78 average rating. Kevin Campbell and Forsberg, both from Red Bull Leipzig, have 7 assists each and top the league. Yarmolenko from Dortmund has been selected 4 times as the player of the match, and the Dortmund goalkeeper Roman Bürki has had 7 clean sheets in his games. The last stat that we're going to follow is coming from Hanover. We see that they have a disciplinary problem. The number 1 and number 2 in terms of yellow cards are both their players. Next, I'm going to check the French Ligue 1, and we see that here PSG is leading the way with 45 points, one more than Monaco in second place. Lyon is far away with 38 in third place. At the bottom, we see Caen, Amiens, and Troyes, all in the relegation zone, with Montpellier and Lille dangerously close. Guido Carrillo is leading the goal scorers sheet with 14 goals from Monaco. Stefan Jovetic is also from Monaco with 10 goals in second place. Neymar, not surprisingly, is the best player in the league with average rating of 7.88. Maxime Lopez from Olympique Marseille has 8 assists, the same number as Remy Cabella from Saint-Etienne. Neymar has been selected 8 times as player of the match. This is double the second, which is Enzo Crivelli, the same number as Depreville from Bordeaux. Alphonse Areola from PSG has had the most clean sheets, the same number as Daniel Subasic from Monaco, 9 each. And in the yellow cards list, we see Hilton from Montpellier leading the list with 9 yellow cards. So this is it from France. Looking at the European competitions, first is Europa League or Eurocup as it's called in the game. We see that the group stage has ended. Sparta Prague, Real Sociedad have qualified from Group A. Hoffenheim and CSKA Moscow have qualified here from Group B ahead of PSV Eindhoven. In Group C, Villarreal and Sporting Lisbon have qualified. Lokomotiv Moscow has finished in last place. Group D, AC Milan, Bordeaux have qualified. Group E, we have Nice and Fenerbahce from Turkey. Group F is we see leading the German Freiburg and Rijeka from Croatia. Athletic Bilbao has not managed to qualify in this group, 1 point below Rijeka and 2 points below the leaders Freiburg. So this was a very interesting group. In Group G, we see Lazio and Hertha Berlin qualifying on the expense of Braga from Portugal and Vitesse from Netherlands. Group H, Galatasaray from Turkey and Marseille from France. Group I, Everton and Zenit have qualified, so good on Everton here. They have managed quite impressively. You see 5 wins and only 1 draw, 16 points out of possible 18. Very good performance indeed. Group J, Celtic and Köln. Group K, Lyon from France and Dinamo Zagreb from Croatia. And the last Group L has seen Arsenal qualify with the same number of points as Everton, 16, and Panathinaikos. Club Brugge from Belgium has not managed to qualify, and Panathinaikos from Greece are second in this group. In the Champions League, we see some interesting results. In Group A, you see Spartak Moscow has qualified, topping the group with 12 points. Actually, they have the same results as Manchester City in second place, which means that Basel and Red Bull Salzburg have been left out of the next stages of the Champions League. In Group B, we have Juventus and PSG qualifying. Group C, Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich have qualified for the expense of Liverpool and Feyenoord. Liverpool have only managed to take 4 points, so only 1 win and a draw. A poor performance from the Reds from Liverpool. Group D sees Tottenham topping the group. Next have Real Madrid second with 8 points less than Tottenham, who have managed to record 6 wins out of the 6 possible matches. In Group E, we have Napoli and Barcelona qualifying quite strongly against Benfica and Karabakh. Group F has Manchester United qualifying with Monaco. Group G, Dortmund and Shakhtar have qualified on the expense of Roma and Olympiacos. Group H, Sevilla and Chelsea have qualified for the expense of Red Bull Leipzig and Ajax. I have now fast forwarded until the end of the season and we are at 27th of May 2018. Let's first check what has happened in the Premier League. And we see that the Premier League has been won by Manchester United, 11 points clear compared to the second one placed Chelsea. They have 88 points. Manchester City have finished the season at 5th place with 66, so this makes them 22 points clear of the champions. Arsenal and Tottenham consist the rest of the top 4. Chelsea have pipped Arsenal to the second place, as we can observe from our mid-season peak. Liverpool, in the meantime, have climbed up the table to 6th place, so they have been only 1 point below Manchester City. Previously, they were battling with West Ham, Newcastle, and Watford. So Newcastle have kept the good season along with West Ham, but Watford have slipped to 11th. We see that the relegation zone consists of Southampton, Brighton, and Huddersfield, who, surprisingly and very interestingly, all finished on 33 points along with 17 played Stoke, and Stoke only survived because they have a better goal difference. Let's just check quickly the player stats, the key stats for that season, and then we'll go through a rather more extensive review of how the new transfer Ivan Perisic performed at Manchester United. Let's see the players overview, and here let's start from the top goal scorer. So the award is going to Sergio Aguero with 20 goals from 35 games. Next in line is Troy Deeney with 19, one above Romelu Lukaku with 18 for the champions Manchester United. Sam Vokes has had a wonderful season with 16 goals. Harry Kane 15 goals, which is quite average for his own standards. Alexis Sanchez finishing the season with 14 goals, one more than his teammate Olivier Giroud in Arsenal and Mohamed Salah from Liverpool. Next, let's see another strikers statistic here, the best at hitting target, Callum Wilson, 58%, same number as Tammy Abraham, who is in Swansea on loan from Chelsea. Kevin De Bruyne, a midfielder here from Manchester City, 56%. Let's then take the midfielder statistic, most assists. Kevin De Bruyne himself with 14 assists is winning this table here. He actually has the same number of assists as Juan Mata from the champions Manchester United and one more than Aaron Moy from Huddersfield. If I am not mistaken, Huddersfield are actually going down, so unfortunately the many assists Aaron did were not sufficient to keep them up. In the rest of the stats, we can see that David Proper from Brighton made the most key passes. Eden Hazard was the person with the most dribbles. N'Golo Kante covered most distance and made the most tackles, while Per Mertesacker made the most key tackles across the season. Thibaut Courtois had the most clean sheets, but Ederson from Manchester City conceded the least overall. Next, let's see how Ivan Perisic performed in that season. So as we can see from his career stats, he played an overall 41 games as a starter and 8 games as a sub with a total average rating of 7.02, which is not bad considering he's a new signing. In the Premier League, he played in 34 games, scoring 7 goals, making 2 assists and taking one player of the match award along the way. Also, he finished as champion, so we must add that to the list. Let's see how did he fit into his new team. Let's go to the tactics screen, and we see him here on the right wing. Midway through the season, he was mostly used on the left, or at least he was used on the left during that time when we checked. Now he's on the right. Martial is up front. Mkhitaryan and Mata are alongside Perisic in the trio behind him with Pogba and a new signing, Arthur. Arthur is a midfielder coming from Grêmio from Brazil. He's a very nice all-round midfielder, quite young, so he was signed during January transfer window for £14.75 million. The defense has not changed a lot. Shaw, Bailey, Lindelof and Valencia are just in front of De Gea. And if we look at the squad, we can see that Lukaku, unfortunately for him, has finished the season injured. He is still out for 2 to 4 weeks. Let's have a quick look at the transfer window for Manchester United to see who did they sign. So on top of Perisic, who was a first transfer, we see Pierre Gignac, who was signed from Tigres for a ridiculous amount of money for him. That's very surprising. And the midfielder Arthur from Grêmio. On the outgoing list, we see Fellaini has left for Olympique Marseille for £5.5 million. Who else left? We see Daley Blind, a surprising transfer to West Brom for £8.5 million. This is very surprising. Usually Daley Blind is bought by a bigger team. Matteo Darmian has gone on paid loan to Stoke, and Marcus Rojo left for China Tianjin Quanjian for £12 million. Also here at the very top we can see Axel Tuanzebe has been sent on a Premier League team loan to Burnley, and Scott McTominay has played actually at Burton during that season. Now let's look at the transfers in the Premier League overall, and we can see that Virgil van Dijk's January transfer to Liverpool for £75 million is the top transfer. Next in line is Aymeric Laporte, a central defender from Athletic Bilbao, has moved to Chelsea in January for £54 million. Ivan Perisic, the transfer that we fixed in the beginning of the video, is third. Kieran Tierney has switched from Scotland to Manchester City for £40.5 million, another fullback to add to the team. Donny van de Beek from Ajax has joined Southampton. Donny van de Beek is an all-round midfielder from the Netherlands, apparently quite good stats, and he's very young at 21, so good for Southampton. Unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, they are going down to the Championship. Adam Lallana has went from Liverpool to Manchester City for £29 million. We can see Arthur here, the midfielder that Manchester United bought, also very good all-round midfielder as well, 21 years old. Then we get some players. Sam Hutchinson, I'm not familiar with Sam Hutchinson. He has joined Newcastle from Sheffield Wednesday. A player from Celta has joined Arsenal, Pione Sisto. Then we have Marcus Rojo's transfer here and Pierre Gignac. Let's see what else we see interesting here. Matthijs de Ligt from Ajax has joined Arsenal. So this is a very high potential young defender. So good for Arsenal for snatching Matthijs de Ligt so early in the game. Quickly going through the awards for the Premier League season, we see that the Player of the Year, English Players Player of the Year, is Juan Mata, who has won the award. He has played in 35 games, scoring 12 goals and making 14 assists along the way, with an average rating of 7.62, which is quite high indeed. The best goalkeeper has been Thibaut Courtois with the most clean sheets. David De Gea and Ederson are right behind him. Let's see what else we get. Manager of the Year, Jose Mourinho, picking the title with Manchester United in his second season, so this is probably not going to happen in reality. Then Player of the Year, Juan Mata once again. Team of the Year, it's dominated by Manchester United players Lukaku, Pogba, Mata, Valencia and Bailly. We see also Sanchez from Arsenal, Courtois from Chelsea, Aguero and De Bruyne from City, Toby Alderweireld and Aaron Cresswell from the London, West Ham and Tottenham teams as well. And what else can we see here? We can see the Young Player of the Year award has gone to Harry Kane, who has scored 15 goals, 5 assists for a 7.45 average rating. The rest of the leagues I'm going to cover very quickly. We can see in Spain, Barcelona has won La Liga with 93 points, 5 clear of Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid having a poor season, 14 points off the top of the table. Sevilla fourth, Valencia only managing to finish fifth. Leganes, Betis, Real Betis and Las Palmas have been relegated. Cristiano Ronaldo is the goal scorer. The average rating award goes to Miguel Moya from Napoli, who has now moved to Napoli. If I'm not mistaken, yes, he was a player of Atletico Madrid. So this was probably just a few games. So only 2 games. I'm not sure why the game actually allowed that to happen, but anyway, Miguel Moya has been the top performer in Spain. Most assists by Lionel Messi, most shutouts by the Atletico Bilbao goalkeeper Arrizabalaga, and the Player of the Match award goes to Lionel Messi with 20 times he has been awarded that award. So Barcelona has dominated La Liga for another year. The Italian Serie A has been won once again by Juventus with a 15-point cushion to the second place Napoli. Inter has finished third, 74 points, so this is taking them 18 points off the top. We'll have a look in a second of how they have been doing without Perisic. Benevento, Crotone, and Verona, unfortunately, are all going down as part of the relegation zone. Gonzalo Higuain has finished as top scorer, only one goal ahead of Andrea Belotti, 27 to Belotti's 26. And Higuain also picked up the highest average rating through the season with 8.05, which is a great return. Dybala, in the meantime, managed to get 18 assists for Juve, and Higuain, along with Belotti, picked up the Player of the Match award on 11 occasions. Let's just quickly go to Inter and see how they have been doing. Going to the tactic squad, we see that here they have Boschilia. So this is a player I'm not familiar with. He's 22, Brazilian. Nice stats for a young player. He's on loan from Monaco, and this happened at probably at some point through the season, or maybe since the beginning. I'm not sure. But Boschilia has actually replaced Eder, who was playing at this position earlier in the season. We see Eder is now a substitute, so Eder probably didn't perform that well. Let's just have a quick look. He played 31 games in total, scoring only 6 goals with an average rating 6.89, which is not that good. The Bundesliga in Germany. Here we have a champion. As expected, Bayern München has won the league with 81 points, 14 clear of the second place Dortmund, third place for Red Bull Leipzig, fourth place Borussia Mönchengladbach, and we see Frankfurt and Augsburg going down. Mainz and Freiburg have managed to survive. We see also that Mainz have won the playoff to survive against second-tier Braunschweig. The goal scorers chart has been won by Robert Lewandowski with 21 goals. He has managed to surpass Aubameyang, who was leading midway through the season in January. We see that Thiago is the person with the highest average rating in Germany with 7.71. Kevin Campbell from Leipzig has managed to get 13 assists and is leading that chart. Player of the Match award against Robert Lewandowski's name are 8, most of any player in the Bundesliga. And Manuel Neuer from Bayern München has managed to keep his sheet clean for the 13 games, just as many as Roman Bürki from Dortmund. So this has not been a very competitive league this year. And the last league in our focus is Ligue 1 in France, where PSG have won with 10 points cushion, so it was not a very close league as well. Lyon second place with 79 points. They are above Monaco, 2 points above them. With Monaco finished the season with 77, disappointing for them. Lille, Troyes, and Amiens are going down when Lille have lost actually the playoff with Ajaccio. We see that Guido Carrillo has managed to score 21 goals, 2 more than Neymar, picking up the goal scorer award, while Diego Benaglio from Monaco has picked up the award for the highest average rating. Nabil Fekir has managed to take 15 assists from this season. Neymar with 13 Player of the Match awards. Anthony Lopez, the Lyon goalkeeper, with the most clean sheets. And this is pretty much it for the French league. Let's have a quick look at the European competitions. You can see that Europa League has been won by Liverpool on penalties in the final against Arsenal, and this is quite interesting. Let's see how they have managed to get to the final. First, let's find where Liverpool are. So they have started by defeating Benfica, then Red Bull Leipzig, CSK Moscow, Sporting Lisbon, and then in the final Arsenal, who along the way defeated Dinamo Zagreb, Lyon, Marseille, Galatasaray before bowing down to the eventual champions. So let's just have a look of some surprises here along the way. I don't really see any, but that's not really our point of the experiment here. Going one tier above in the Champions League, the new champions are Juventus beating Manchester United in the final 1-0. Manchester United have qualified for that final, beating Shakhtar, Barcelona and Bayern Munich, while Juventus actually beat Manchester City, Sevilla and PSG. So a very interesting season here. Let's see how the other teams were performing. So Sevilla beat Monaco before going out to Juventus. Real Madrid went out to Napoli on penalties, but Napoli lost to PSG. PSG first eliminated Atletico. Quite interesting season here. Finally, let's have a look at Manchester United in particular and see how they performed in all competitions so that we can make some assumptions of the impact that Ivan Perisic made on their season. So going back to their schedules list, I'll just go through where we left off last time, which was the 1st of January. So they had a match with Chelsea, which as you can see, they won. So 1-0 away on Stamford Bridge. Then they had another win at Brighton, but unfortunately lost the League Cup semi-final first leg to Chelsea at home. The League Cup second leg semi-final was won at Chelsea 2-0, so they qualified on aggregate to the final, to the League Cup final, which they lost to Burnley. So this is why Burnley actually have qualified for the Europa League next season. Let's see, in the FA Cup, fourth round, they eliminated Stoke. Then they eliminated Chelsea. Afterwards, they beat Huddersfield. On the semi-final, they beat Leicester. And finally, in the final, they lost to Arsenal. So they lost 3 finals this season. So this must have been a heartbreaking season for Mourinho and his team. They lost first on the 25th of February to Burnley in the League Cup final. Afterwards, they bowed to Arsenal 0-2 in the FA Cup final before actually losing to Juventus in the end of the season in the final showdown. Let's just have a quick look at how they performed. So the best performer of this game from Manchester United side was Martial. Martial had a good game, but on the other side, Douglas Costa scored in the 20th minute, bringing the Champions League to Italy and Juventus. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to fast forward 3 more seasons into the future, which I'm going to record as the next episode of this experiment, and I'll get back to you with the results in my next video. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions or have any requests for an experiment or a test that you want me to try out and then upload, please let me know in the comments. Thank you and see you soon.